to you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's perfect.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Jump on, my guys. Oh,
That's plantation.
It's not just regular growth.
Yeah,
No,
these are grown specifically for this reason.
Excuse me. Oh, sorry. You have a preference on the side?
No. Not at all.
Well, we always pick the wrong side.
Really needs to go to the bathroom. There's one just back there in that building. So we're leaving at 1 o'clock, so it's another 8 minutes. And so we'll drive for 1.25 hours to our destination. It's probably hard to hear me at the moment, but once those fans quieten down, when it cools down a bit, you should be able to hear okay. So my name is Shane Boys, that is my name. I'm your driver, and just to save money, I'll be your tour guide as well. How does that sound? Yeah. Have you been to Milford Sound yet, folks? Okay, you have. So therefore this is your first sort of port where you get off the ship, right? Right, so your first port. Tomorrow you're going to Christchurch, up north. Oh, Wellington. Okay. So look at this beautiful architecture. Dunedin is famous for the architecture. You're not going to see too much of that today. Your focus is on the nature. But you will still see nice architecture, like look at that church up on the hill. Beautiful old Scottish church. So 1848 was when the first settlers or pilgrims or colonists arrived here in 1848 from Scotland. Look at this beautiful main street with the buildings that date back to the 1860s. So only 12 years after the settlers arrived, they created this stuff. That's pretty good. If you look at this port stable here on the right, it says 1867. Of course, horses were a very important part of life in 1867. You got around by horse unless you walked. Right, that's it, the main street of Port Chalmers. Now we're on the open road heading for Dunedin, round about 7 miles journey from here to the city down the road. Construction on the left hand side. You may wonder, what's going on here? Why all this construction? It's a cycleway. Building a cycleway for the bicycle riders. $48 million just for this piece of, all that you can see from here to the end, $48 million. It's supposed to be about 22 degrees, so that's about 74 Fahrenheit, I think. So it's a nice temperature. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. And that's what Dunedin is. It's just right. And the reason is because of where we are in the world. We're exactly halfway between the equator and the South Pole. What do you think of this impressive structure, this bridge for the cyclists? Right here, look how big that is. Now here's the question. Why didn't they widen the road here? I'll tell you why. See that wall, the brown rocks? Historical, archaeological site. See those brown rocks here on the wall? Okay, they wanted to protect that archaeological site, because that wall was built in the 1880s by Maori prisoners of war or convicts. Convict labour built that wall with those old brownstones. Otago Harbour this is. We're nearly at the end of it. You can see there's a channel with the markers there, red and green. That's the very first major channel in New Zealand, dug in 1883. That's in our very early days, because the first Europeans didn't come to New Zealand until about 1810, 1809. The first missionaries came here. Missionaries, yes, to preach the good word. 1809. So that channel was built in 1883. So not too long after the first people arrived. Soon you're going to see the largest building in Dunedin. The largest building. And the next minute you'll see it. It's our rugby stadium. It's coming up very soon. Now rugby is like a religion in Dunedin, in Otago, our state. For a small population of only 130,000, that's it, 130,000. We've got a stadium that seats 30,000, costs $200 million, and there it is. That's the stadium. You're looking at the only stadium in the world fully roofed with a natural grass turf. The only one in the world. Finished in 2011. Took 2 years to build, by the way, 2 years. When we have a concert, a show, like Rod Stewart's, the next one, we can get 36,000. So they put the chairs on the turf, but the grandstand is 30,000. So I'm taking the quickest way possible to nature's wonders. It's a long drive, so maybe on the way back I might take the long way and drive more through the city, show you a little bit on the way back. Depends on the timing. Beautiful. Now here's a bit of art, a bit of culture on the left. We got any dentists on board? Dentists or dental technicians, hygienists? Yes, what are these? Yeah, they're teeth, but be specific. Molars, yes. That's the harbour molars. Why? I knew it. You were going to say why? Because we've got the only dental school in New Zealand. That's a good enough reason, isn't it? Yeah. Really into rugby, like some people, but I do like it. I do admire the athletes and the actual games. Quite fun to watch. That stadium is home to the Otago state team as well, called the Razorbacks. It's just like a big lake, very safe, no sharks, no riptides or currents, very popular. So the tide is about halfway out, I think. This is a little kind of a settlement here on the Otago Peninsula called McAndrew Bay. There's several of these little settlements. Some have got a school, a church, playground, a shop, art gallery even. A lot of crafty people live here. Arty people. Writers, poets, musicians, dancers, potters, weavers, jewellery makers, arty people, sculptors. They're inspired by the nature, and it's quite close to the city. Just jump on a bus, you're there in 15 minutes from McAndrew Bay. Look at this little beach. Even smaller. Your own private little beach. Great. Very popular, very busy, with the locals and tourists. Yeah. The only pub on the peninsula. Here's it, yeah. So yeah, I went out to my cousin's house and I had a ginger beer at his house. Yeah. and I rode my motorbike back. It was a great ride on the motorbike, round all the corners, leaning over. It was fantastic. I've only got a small little bike, 300cc. It's plenty, it's all you need. Did you know New Zealand is the world capital of penguins? We've got more species of penguins than any other country in the world. I think we've got 7 of the 18... Hey, bicycles! Take a photo! Hey, I hope you're enjoying the $50 million cycleway, guys. $50 million. So we've got a bit of an inland stretch here. There's the eastern remains of the crater. So this was a very old, very extinct, ancient volcano called the Dunedin volcano that millions of years ago erupted, cooled down and formed all the hills around Dunedin, or basically formed Dunedin, because it was a monster of a volcano. Very big one. Cliffs. Slow down, bro. There's gun emplacements and bunkers under the cliffs because it started in the 1880s. Britain and Russia weren't good mates, and there was a thought that the Russians were going to invade the colonies, and we were one of the colonies, right? So we put guns, cannons all along the harbour entrance. So here's the heads here. The channel, the harbour entrance, just down here. So all along here is gun, cannon, aimed out at the heads. So that if a ship came in, they could just blast them with the cannons. But the Russians never came. Look at that beach over there. See, there's a big dark thing on the beach? That's a sea lion. It's huge. It's the size of a horse. So it's a big dark thing on the beach there. It's not a horse, it's a sea lion. You only see sea lions on the sand, not on rocks. So you've just seen one from a distance. 400 kilograms, or 880 pounds. So the albatross colony is just in front of us, actually. But unless it's really windy, the albatrosses don't fly. They can't fly, because they can't really flap their wings like a normal bird. They're gliders. Because their wingspan is 3 meters in width, 3 meter diameter, or 9 feet. I'm just trying to find you one. I'm looking at the road, and my other eye's looking up above that hill, because normally they fly above that building. Because on the other side of that little building on top of the hill, that's the observation area to look at the nesting albatross, there's about 50 nests up there, just on the other side of the hill. And on the other side of the hill is like a runway for them, where they open up their wings and they run down the hill to get lift, and then they just take off on the other side of this hill. And that's where they fly in a big circle, round and round above the nests. Right, look out to sea here, folks. This is the spot I was mentioning earlier. From here to South America is nothing. 5,000 miles of nothing from this point out. So we're right on the eastern point now of the peninsula. And now we're driving, once we get through these gates up here, we're on a private road. We're entering a farm. A New Zealand, a Dunedin farm. I know what you're looking for. You're looking for the albatross, aren't you? Keep looking over there, you might see one. If not now, maybe on the way back, when we're coming down the hill. They're like a giant flying sheep. They're about the size of a sheep with 9 feet wings. No, they are. They're massive. When they stand up, they're about as high as my hip in height, when they're just standing up. They're huge. Now when we arrive, there's usually the owner of the place who greets us. He's a fabulous guy, and hopefully he's going to meet us, or he's going to greet us and get on the bus and say hi, you know. I'm sure you're not going to be disappointed with this tour. And this part of this big building used to be military, was part of the military installation, like the barracks, for example. It was up here on this, where this guy has got his business, his farm. He does sheep shearing. He's a sheep shearer, and takes people to view the beach with his, you know, penguins and seals and maybe a sea lion if you're really lucky. But it's not a zoo, right? So you can't guarantee there's going to be all this stuff here, but you'll see. This is gorse. All this spiky plant is called gorse. Introduced as a hedge, but it's become a real pest, hard to get rid of. Don't touch it. It's got really sharp, spiky kind of needles on it. But normally he comes down and greets us. Maybe he's shearing his sheep today. It's okay. Oh, I know what they're doing. They're already doing another tour, because most of the Argos are not here. Oh, here he is. This is the man I'm telling you about.
How you going, guys? Where are you all from? Lovely to meet you all. I'm Perry, and we actually may get a wee shower of rain, but there's a bright side to it. It saves you the trouble of sweating. I know. Anyway, guys, here's the deal today. We're going to go, there'll be more wee Argos come back in a moment. We're going to go half on the little 8-wheelers and half on the coach, and we swap over at Penguin Beach. Now, the restrooms are up through into the reception here, and you won't need your bags today, guys, but if you do leave anything here, it will be on eBay next Tuesday. Okay?
Loggers have coats.
Then they switch. Yeah. So we'll get both.
Thinking maybe the coach first in case, like, this is the rain now.
Yeah, that's good. Good thought. Excuse me.
Wonder if we ever see a video or anything like that.
I don't know.
Construction videos on how to drive.
Wow, what an amazing journey up here.
Oh, I know, right?
So beautiful. Nature's wonder.
Yes, it is very nice.
Wow. Nice, get a cafe. Gift shop over here. Nature wonder.
Just the New Zealand ones. We're trying to get a supplier that will do all sorts of things.
So we traveled by coach all the way around the peninsula. It took us about an hour and 15 minutes, and now we're going to load up in these Argos, which are 8-wheeled vehicles. Some of us are going to load up in a smaller coach, and we're going on the hunt. Well, not hunting, but we're going to go find possibly penguins and seals and sea lions, and of course there's a sheeping operation here. Out there in the yard, there's a good old pile of sheep ready to be sheared. So this is pretty exciting stuff. Pretty beautiful ride up here. It's amazing. Ocean. Oh, and we've spotted wild Canadian geese. Or no, that's Don. I'm sorry.
I'm trying.
Trying a local Bundaberg Burgundy creaming soda, Australia family owned. Give it a sample.
Give it a whirl here.
Yeah.
It's like a cherry cream soda.
Cherry is good.
Not bad.
Cherry cream soda. How about that?
Not promising.
Thank you for trying.
No, I'll try. We desperately need it, but I know you don't want to be wet.
All right, so we're gonna either load up in these 8-wheeled vehicles, the Argo, or we're going to jump on a smaller bus, and then we will switch up somewhere along the way so that we'll have both experiences.
Now this is a real problem. Here, do you want? Thank you. Thank you. That's all right.
It's a very diplomatic both of them. How's that? That's pretty cool, right?
You swap round halfway.
Perfect.
So, yep. Come on down.
Yeah.
So you will.
So for those of you in here that are wanting to be on one of those 8-wheel machines, we will have a swap over halfway round. So if you don't want to, if you want to remain in here, I'm sure that'll be fine. There'll be people that are quite happy to stay out there as well. So it seems to work. Has done for the last 20 years. Just let them know first. They're a bit smaller than us. So we're going to end up in the same place at the same time for the same amount of time. So there's no loss of viewing or anything sitting in one seat or other. Oh, if you're sitting at the front of the bus, you'll get there first, but if you're at the back, you'll leave last. So, I suppose it swings and roundabouts. So we'll turn around, unless you want to go in reverse the whole way, probably not. So this little private land where we're heading to, there's no public walking tracks, there's no, walk yourself around stuff. It's never actually been public access out here. This has been private land the entire time of New Zealand. So it's been protected for a long time. Now, as we go along, we'll talk about what we can see, but if you have any questions along the way, just keep those quiet to yourselves. So, now if you have a question, sing out. So the first thing we're going to see are a whole bunch of World War II military emplacements, which are on the left-hand side up here at the moment. So these particular ones are built 1939. For the Second World War, there are actually some that were built for the First World War, and there's even a small amount from 1885. So there's 3 different fortifications have been built here. Now these are World War II out here. So these particular buildings here housed a 16.3 ton gun. They had the ability to fire up to 7 shots per gun per minute, which was considered relatively rapid fire in those days. And those guns had a 6 1/4 inch diameter, so they were reasonably big guns, but still, whether it would have worked or not, who knows. Nothing made it to New Zealand, so they were not required for fighting, just for training purposes. So this was a training camp as well. Alright, so New Zealand has provinces, not states, and our province here is the Otago province, which actually takes its name from the Otago Harbour, which is the harbour your ship floated up this morning, which is this one in front of us. You'll see it out to the side in a second. I'll just stop around the corner. So all shipping in and out of this harbour must come through this little pass down here. Then you follow the main shipping channel all the way up to Port Chalmers, and you can see your ship up there at the moment getting more beer and chocolate loaded on, I would imagine. well, if you've been at sea for a couple of days, surely you gave all those things a good hiding, so they'll need to replace it, top it up a bit. So you would have had a local pilot take you through the fjords, you would have had a local pilot bring you in here this morning, might have even been the same person. They will also take you back out this evening. So anything over 150 metric ton or more must have a local pilot. That's the same most ports around the world now, to be fair, not just here. So Dunedin is 29 kilometres from here, but you guys know that, you've just spent an hour in a bus, so it's not a huge distance, it's just a windy road that takes a bit of time. And it takes more time now than it did last year because our local council's decided to drop the speed limit from 70 down to 40 kilometres an hour in a heap of it. So it's taken much longer now. Anyway, that's how it is. We'll change that later. Alright, now if you cast your eyes way out to the right hand side, the headland furthest away from us out there is a place known as Cape Saunders. So Cape Saunders is pretty well known for a number of reasons, but the biggest reason is that from Antarctica there are 3 major ocean currents. Now one current goes up South Africa, one up South America, the other one comes up to New Zealand, and Cape Saunders there is the very first point of land that the New Zealand bound current actually crashes into. So 403 different squid species are found out here at different times of the year. So dolphins, albatross, whales, seals, all of these things are predominantly feeding on squid. They love the stuff. Now for those that do not eat squid, there are also a couple of hundred or about 250 different species of fish. More new ones are being found all the time, to be fair. And over 1,700 different seaweed and kelp varieties as well. So there's a massive amount of food out here of all different types. Something for everyone, which is good. Now the little beaches down there on the left, you've got Pipi Caratu is the larger one, Little Pipi is the small one. No public access across those beaches. They are part of the Wildlife Reserve guided only network that runs through this region. They're all protected down there. There are literally thousands of beaches to surf and swim on. You don't have to be on a couple of wildlife hotspots, so these ones are definitely protected for that reason. So our first stop, we're going to look for New Zealand fur seals. So this time of year is fantastic, lots of young pups down here. So those of you with cameras, just make sure you have your flash turned off. If you have any trouble doing that, come and see us, we'll help you out. Now when we leave this part, we will jump back on this little bus. Those of you that want to be on those 8-wheel machines, that will be the next stop that we will change over. So you can leave your bag on here if you want to. If you don't want to carry it, that's fine. Right, so you can see the first of those 8-wheel machines just coming down the hill on the right there. It's almost like we've done this before. Look at that timing. Perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump on out, we're going to wander on down to where they are. Okay, so we're not walking off in 28 different ways. We're going to jump on out, we're going to head on right down there where those guys are. So perfect.
Wow. This is pretty impressive.
everywhere in amongst those rocks. Lots of youngsters, so the young ones are just born in December.
Sorry.
Yeah, you'll see him. That way, you'll see him. These are fantastic place.
Amazing, yes, sir.
You're welcome as welcome. So
thanks for having us. It's amazing. Have you been down there yet?
Yeah, on my way.
Try to get in the corner past the railing. This is fantastic, guys.
Some reason or other. Now, once we've had a look in this part, those of you that are wanting to go on those 8-wheel machines, you certainly can. There might be a few of you that wish to stay in here, but as a group, we'll just sort of work it out. We'll make sure everyone gets a seat somewhere or other, which is all good. So we'll jump on out again, and we're going to head off down to the left. So there is a big roof down here. If it's raining, there's a fair bit of this undercover in this section. So easy as. Here we go.
Alright, jumping off here at Penguin Beach.
one. Let's
Yeah,
get up there
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Okay.
Show you is there's they have 3 or 4 nests built into these walls here, and you can actually see the baby penguins, but they don't allow any photography or video. Again, this is a heavily predatored beach, even for the baby penguins. They say those black and white birds there are a natural predator to the baby penguins. This is Penguin Beach. I didn't see any major penguins at the time. But wow, an amazing spot. Amazing spot. Covered walk, rain protection. They actually said they hadn't had rain here in a long time, so it's just now starting to rain. Oh boy. I guess this is where we came down, because there's like a divergence. So those are the little like nest areas that we were looking into. Whew. Heck of a walk. With the rain and then went right back on the bus. Maybe, yes. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I don't know what that is. Sorry.
SeaWorld, they don't go to Antarctica, they're just found in this region. So unlike Parlet, Russell Crowe and Pavlova, even Australia can't claim them. I know there's other, you can have Russell Crowe, you can keep him. Without the receipt, you can't return them. Wonderful, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
He said 3:15. It's 3:30. So
Yeah. Pretty sure we'll be loading up pretty quick.
yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, thank
So you
you.
can get on the bus if you want to,
Well,
folks,
rained it.
or you can go up here and wash your hands or whatever you need to do.
How was it? Yeah.
Get a few donuts.
Oh yeah. Some good views up top.
Yeah. Well, we were going pretty fast. Didn't really stop as much.
Oh yeah.
But the endurance. I'm glad we chose the second part of it, because I get to be in front of it myself.
That was sweet. All right. That was
Fire back.
my soda is here.
I was one in front of you.
Yes,
right?
you're there. Oh. Well, that was pretty cool.
Sea lions are cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Got some really good shots of the pump and everything.
And there's an accident on the Port Chalmers Road, and nobody can get through. That's the only way to get to Port Chalmers. So what I've got to do is I've got to pull over, ring the general manager and ask for instructions. And if the delay is going to be for a bit longer, you know what I'm going to do? Keep on showing you Dunedin. Alright? So what I'll do is I'll find a park No, they won't leave without you. There's been a bit of an accident on the main road, so I'll ring the boss and I'll find out what the delay. He might know that, you know, it might be half an hour delay or something like that. So the ship it definitely won't go without you.
So we're in an interesting circumstance. We're on our way back to the cruise ship, but the road that takes us back there's only one way back, and there's been an accident, and the road is blocked. So we're getting an extra stop on our sightseeing tour. We're in Dunedin, and we're going to the train station, which is apparently pretty spectacular. So yeah, we're going to disembark the bus, go to the train station, kill about 20 minutes, and hopefully we'll be able to get to the cruise ship. But they won't leave without it. It's no big deal, but yeah, little adventure on the way back. Thanks.
So Tony, good lesson, right? This is why short excursions through the cruise line is sometimes a pretty darn good idea.
Yeah, so if we were to book privately, I don't know what the private companies can do.
No.
Other than hope that they get back before the buses that the cruise companies are waiting for get back.
If there were no more excursions this afternoon, then they'd be completely out of luck if they're only on private tours.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense to book with a cruise line.
Well, the rain's back.
Hey!
You got a bar and a restaurant in here.
Yeah. Restaurant there.
I hope they have like a little soda place in here or something. It could be longer than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Because the roads here are really narrow, right? So I can see how one accident can back things up a long way.
Yeah, 100%.
Cameraman.
Wow. Very cool. Stuck in Dunedin.
Dunedin. Not a lot to see. Apparently there's a Sports Hall of Fame upstairs.
Oh, wow. Huh. Do you want to go up there or walk by? Let's go by. Yeah. Yeah. The little, like, yeah. Almost like a maze, garden maze, but yeah. Yeah, it's pretty big. Get some of the dirt off my feet. I got a little muddy over at the.
I know. I was surprised at how much build-up of dirt there was inside that pathway that we walked in.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, take your time.
It's the rain soaked through the jacket.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, rain. Thank you.
Look at this courthouse here. Look at the beautiful, it's a working courthouse. The best in the country, the most beautiful courthouse. Here's that hotel where the Queen stayed on the left, and opposite this hotel there's a big building here on the right, and that's New Zealand's first newspaper. In 1861, when gold was discovered, money started coming into the city, and they bought a printing press over from London and started publishing a newspaper, the very first in our country, and it was right here. But that is not the original building. Twice, Rod Stewart, Neil Diamond, they're the only ones I can think of, and I've never been to one of them, never. But I've driven the artists from the airport to here. Wow. Did you see that concrete power line down? And all the power lines. That's serious. Whew. Man. I hope you have some beautiful memories, you've taken some great photos and had some magical moments today, and I wish you sincerely a beautiful voyage around our lovely country. Be safe and may God bless you all. So thank you very much, folks. Thank you.
My room key still says Dawn.
Oh, instead of Donald.
Even though I had to go get it changed, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I still have it.
Oh, he's done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shane. Very, very good time.
Was a good tour.
Yeah, it was a great tour. How's it going, Alejandro? Crazy, right? With the.
But it was not that bad of a delay.
No.
Much worse. Although they really knocked over that.
Yeah. Oh.
You should see the concrete.
Yeah. They took us to an extra spot, which was nice. Oh, you want to go to the show first?
I think so, eh?
Yeah, that way we don't waste the whole hour just waiting, you know?
Yeah.
Eating and then waiting.
I can imagine we also want to do some editing tonight too.
Yeah.
At some point.
Go drop this stuff off.
Grab a drink.
Some a drink.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the captain at the beginning of the bridge. I hope you have a nice day here in Dunedin. At the moment we are preparing the bridge and engines for the departure. As you're aware, there was an accident on the road which has caused a little delay for the shuttle buses and the tourists to come back to the ship. But fortunately we start seeing some movement, so hopefully we will be sailing very shortly. And once everybody on board, we let go all the lines